Surgeon Jayant Patel has been found guilty of unlawfully killing 3 patients at Bundaberg Hospital and causing grievous bodily harm to a 4th. A jury took 6.5 days to convict the American-trained doctor who'd pleaded not guilty to the charges. He'll be sentenced on Thursday, although his legal team's considering an appeal. The Supreme Court trial has been one of the longest in Queensland's history, and former patients say tonight's verdict can bring closure to a dark chapter in their lives. From Bundaberg, Kieran McKechnie reports.
The gasps went out across the courtroom in Bundaberg as former patients watched the verdict on a live telecast. After 6.5 days of deliberation, the jury decided Jayant Patel was guilty of 3 counts of manslaughter after 3 patients died in his care. Patel was also found guilty of grievous bodily harm. His victim, Ian Vowles, silently wept as the verdict was delivered.
Oh, just get on with my life now and take the worry of it out of my mind, yes.
American-trained Dr. Jayant Patel began working at Bundaberg on April Fool's Day in 2003. Almost immediately, concerns were raised.
We'd taken to hiding patients.
Patel resigned in 2005, flying home business class to Portland, Oregon, courtesy of Queensland Health. Investigations revealed Patel had previously been banned from performing some operations in the US due to negligence.
It was a series of things that happened. It was the recruitment, it was the medical board.
As opposition pressure on the government mounted, an inquiry headed by Toni QC was set up. But the Supreme Court ruled Mr Morris showed bias in his questioning, and he was stood down in favour of a new commissioner. Evidence linked Dr Patel to more than a dozen deaths.
Speaker, the report recommends that Jayant Patel should be referred to the Police Commissioner for prosecution for a number of offences, including manslaughter.
Extradition proceedings followed, but there were serious delays. Patel was finally arrested in March 2008, arriving back in Australia 4 months later.
After boarding a flight in Los Angeles yesterday, the former Bundaberg surgeon touched down in Brisbane early this morning.
Obviously there's been a lot of hiccups along the way, a lot of setbacks, and we always held the faith that this day would come.
His trial began in March this year. It ran for 58 days. Nearly 80 witnesses gave evidence.
A former Oregon doctor dubbed Dr. Death has pleaded not guilty in the deaths of 3 people in Australia.
The court heard Patel was a surgeon with a toxic ego who operated beyond his ability. But his defence argued he admitted the day one patient died was the worst of his life and that he operated for the patient's benefit and with their consent. The judge warned the 6 men and 6 women that they were not advocates or detectives, but they decided Jayant Patel was responsible for the deaths at Bundaberg Hospital.
It's vindication and it's relief, but the price that you have to pay is too great.
The judge will hand down his sentence on Thursday.
Life, 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 life. He's taken so many lives, so therefore he has to pay with his own life. Never to be released. He's 60-odd years of age, and as far as I'm concerned, he stays there till the day he dies.
The Patel scandal and subsequent trial has been a dark cloud hanging over the Bundaberg Hospital and all those treated by the surgeon. That cloud has lifted with tonight's verdict, although former patients say they still have a long road to recovery.
For me at the moment, it's possibly now I can put some time into getting my body back to the way it should be, and possibly further surgery. It all depends how much my body can take.
But the long and sorry saga is not quite over. Patel's lawyers have already indicated they will appeal today's extraordinary verdict. Kieran McKechnie, Lateline.